Let's move on to Redefine Properties. This one has got a bigger exposure to retail, but of course it's also in commercial and industrial property assets. It is best known for its swashbuckling CEO, Mark Wayner, who has emerged as one of South Africa's property doyens as he has built this portfolio over the years. Of course, it also has the substantial Redefine International stake. Redefine International itself, we're not talking about it today, but is a very well worthwhile contributor and a big company in its own right. And then most recently, of course, Redefine increased the quality of its portfolio by slurping up, sucking up, and digesting and incorporating all of those Fountainhead property assets. Market capitalization a little bit smaller, 55.8 billion rand, so that is somewhat smaller than Growthpoint. And the yield from this one is showing up on the screen there is 6.57%. I suppose, to be fair, what you ought to look at with these yields is just what the forward yield is likely to be.
A lot of them have told us the forward yield, and the best one around is 10%. Most of them are 5, 6, 7, 8%. So they're telling us what the yield's going to go up by. So that historic dividend yield doesn't climb by much.
But as far as Redefine is concerned, is it not a case to be made that Mark Wayne is such a clever operator that he's going to buy and acquire properties and flip them and turn them, and that you'll get additional value just out of the clever management that is being applied?
There is clearly a case to be made, and it's certainly a much higher yield than Growthpoint. So there is more of a case to be made here than Growthpoint, but you're still operating in the same environment. And when you're a wheeler dealer and you're buying properties and you're selling them, and you might make a profit on doing that, you don't distribute the capital profits. So it adds to your net asset value, but it's no cash flow. And quite frankly, the South African market, the share prices are determined by the distribution, not the net asset value.
Okay, but part of the wheeler dealing is to unlock future cash flows in years to come from superior asset acquisition and improvements, which result in higher leasable value properties.
I mean, people have been saying this for 20 years, but maybe we are getting there now. This is a heavily overtraded market. There's not one area that hasn't got a mega shopping center in it. And it's a difficult market to say. Office rentals office vacancies are 8, 9, 10, 11%. It's only truly A-grade offices that have got low vacancies. Retail vacancies are 5, 6, 7%. It's a very overtraded market. There's limited ability.
Let's suspend our stock conversation just to interrogate that point for a moment. So, I mean, when you look in Sandton, this night skyline behind us here, there are however many billion rands worth of properties currently going up, and those are often owned by the funds we're talking about, where they've signed long-term leases with the corporates that are going to come in. Around the country, we know that you're right. There probably are enough sort of malls in all of our secondary towns and so on. But don't you think there's more development activity than people currently anticipate? Or do you think it's very focused?
It's very focused. I mean, you've got Mall of Africa, massive retail. All the other retail, I mean, I know there's been a couple of other retail shopping centres, not massive, but reasonably large. The rest have just been extensions and refurbs like Sandton City. But the office around the Gautrain here in Sandton is massive. I think there's 7 developments going on here, and the total must be 10, 12, 14 billion for these 7
that's the number I
developments.
kind of thought.
That's
plenty.
A massive amount. But the funny thing is they're all pre-tenanted. There's very little speculation space that's coming on. And as long as you can develop an office within walking distance to the Gautrain, you find a tenant. Of course, the offices that they move out of are going to sit vacant for a while. But, and maybe the next node's the Centurion node with the Gautrain there. Maybe Rosebank's the next big one, but certainly the Sandton one
is cooking.
It is.
Okay, forget that. Redefine, hot or not? Currently, would you buy them?
No, same argument as before.
Very solid, very credible.
It's just a pricing issue.
Ambitious, but as far as they are currently priced under the current circumstances, probably not hot.